Hi friends and neighbors, glad to see you back. As you saw in the beginning, we had a little bit of a crow cooing, crow
Crowing?
crowing,
A rooster.
rooster crowing at the beginning of the video. It was from Key West. We hope you enjoyed that and hope you'll enjoy the other video that we're going to have for you. We're going to start off with an issue that we had during the trip. It's the first time in 20 years that we've had this problem. It was a medical problem. I'll let Beth talk to you about it because she's the one who had the problem.
Well, after our wonderful day in Key West, I was not feeling real great after we got back, and as the night wore on, I got worse. If you're enjoying the information on the video and would like more, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps our channel, and we really appreciate you coming on here and supporting us. And I was having pain in my right flank here, all the way around like gallbladder, liver, everywhere like that. And it got so bad I couldn't sit, I couldn't lay down, and I kept hesitating to go to the doctor and on the ship. And I thought, well, what can they do for me? But this was on our second day, second and third full day. So finally, we went down to medical and saw the nurse and the doctor, and they took some blood, examined me, and came to the conclusion that I had strained a muscle in my right ribs area, and they gave me something similar to Voltaren to use on it for the pain, and also some pills. They gave me a shot to help me, and it really did help. It helped to ease it. So we were very pleased with the service and how easy it was and how kind they were. Also, that same note, we were supposed to go on an excursion in Cozumel, I think. No, it was Progresso. That's because we couldn't go. We were supposed to go to an excursion in Progresso, and I just did not think I could sit, walk, or ride like that. And the nurse sent an email to the excursion desk, and they gave us our credit back for our excursion, which I thought was very kind. They didn't have to do that. And so we got our money back for that.
Speaking of money, that's one of the things that we wanted to definitely give you advice on, and that is travel insurance. So after 20 years of cruising, we didn't always take the insurance, but we've started taking the insurance recently because of Don and because of Tony from Lolita Loca. And so we started taking the travel insurance, and we were glad we did this time. So the amount that the total on the medical came to was $265, I believe.
$263.
Somewhere in there. You can see $263. You can see it on screen. And so we were able to, we obviously had to pay that up front, but we were really surprised that it was as low as it was, right? We had heard about people going into medical and having several $1,000 bills. So we were pleased that it was only $263. And we ended up getting that back after Beth got back and
very easy process.
Put it through to insurance. So we were happy that we got all of that back. And we're going to talk a little bit about the cost of the cruise. And so that's going to be, you'll see the numbers on screen. The costs that we show on screen are a conglomeration of the things that we paid for Margaritaville at sea, as well as our stay the night before in Savannah and that sort of thing. So we have a number of different expenses that were included in there. But we've broken them out in the next screen to show you, how much it cost us in gas, $194, food, and then travel. And then I put down the medical in there, although it was reimbursed, and you'll see that at the bottom as well. But the cruise cost was $33.68.55, and then we got a cruise discount of $17.07, making the actual cruise net $1661.55. Now, when you add in all of the other charges and remove the insurance paid, our total for the trip was $2,738.18. Now, from our perspective, having taken other cruises, that's actually about average, even a little bit low compared to what we've done before. I know when we went on Royal Caribbean on the larger ship, what was it, the Oasis?
Yes.
We went on the Oasis. It was a lot more than that. So just the cruise ticket was probably was a little over $3,000. So, but we did want to share with you the cost of this and let you have an idea about it.
Let you think about that, because even though Margaritaville is a smaller ship than the Oasis and a lot of the bigger ships, and even though it has some tweaks yet, it was not bad. And when you consider we spent way more than that on the Oasis for about the same amount of days. We were on the Oasis for 7 days. We were on here for 6 nights. So this is a really great buy, and they run specials all the time, and they have packages for you to buy. And our insurance cost us $200 together for the insurance that we bought for this trip. So it paid for itself way beyond what I ever thought.
Yes,
so I will never go anywhere without insurance again.
That's true.
The process to get on the Embarkation was quick. Our parking was quick. The ship, when you enter, it was really welcoming. You get the ship itself is beautiful. So just coming up to it, it's gorgeous. And then when you walk in, you get all your little signs there to say, which way to where. It was just wonderful. And also when you walk in to the flip-flop lounge, where it has the giant flip-flop and music, and the staff and crew are welcoming you, and you don't even have to ask for anything. They direct you everywhere you need to go, and it was great. It was just great, very personable to me.
Yeah, very enjoyable. Yeah, we really enjoyed wandering around the ship the first day, and the second day was again started off with the medical, so it wasn't as good, but we did have a chance to go around the ship and look around a little bit, and kind of enjoyed the different, the outside of the ship, as well as looking through the ship. Now, one of the things I did want to bring up from the last time, our last video, we said that there were no maps of the ship within, at the elevators in the ship. So we really didn't know where everything was at without looking on the
your guide,
that paper guide or whatever. But that's actually not true. It is true that they're not at the elevators, but there are ship maps within the ship. They're just very few and far between. We would recommend to Margarita to put them outside of each elevator.
For old people who don't look.
Yeah, for us old folks who don't know how to get to everything, right? We had a cruise director, and we're going to show you a little video from him.
You cannot find this stuff. This is the only place to have them. And this year, we're not going to have them. Next year, we're not going to have them. You know why? Because this stuff right here is Jimmy Buffett's Day Club 2024.
Yeah, he in the Starlight Lounge, he was making jokes about, since he comes from Jamaica, he says tree is for 3, right? So he makes Jamaican jokes like that, and he's funny to a point.
This is a picture of the Havana Daydreaming Sports Bar and Lounge entrance. It is really, really cute, really Latin inspired, has Latin beats and island vibes, has lots of TVs, nice, comfy places to sit. They offer craft beers in here at the bar, and they have a really extensive rum menu. But it was very, very nice, very appropriate for a Jimmy Buffett cruise.
And what I really liked about it, as you can see, is that the bar was very rich looking. Right, it was this beautiful red velvet, velveteen, and lots of wood, and just a really nice place to hang out. Speaking of hangout,
Hangout is a tween club for kids between 10 and 12 years old. Now, they do have, I think, 4 other kids clubs, but the Hangout Club is for those kids want to play games, do computers, watch movies, sing, play cards. It's their spot. There are no adults allowed in here, so of course, but they do have others for the children.
And there are a bunch of other places on board, like shopping and so forth, and we'll get to that in a little bit. We came into Key West. That was our first stop on day 2. And one of the things that we decided we were going to do was to go and try and find the world's best key lime pie, or at least Key West's best key lime pie. Well, we only got to go to 2 different places, so we really can't say it's the best ever from Key. It's the best we've had.
But of the two.
But we will be going back to test more key lime pies. And we will give an updated testing score for all of our key lime pies.
That's right.
But we did go to a couple of different places, and as you can see, we were set up in our gear for walking around in Key West. We wanted to make sure that we had on appropriate hats because it gets hot and it is very bright there, which I have to have some sunglasses because I am allergic to a lot of light.
We tried key lime pie and cheesecake at the Key Lime Pie Bakery there. And we had been there before when we've been to Key West, but I don't know that we had their key lime pie for some reason.
No, I don't think so.
But we did try it. Dean's going to do a little critique of the tasting test there.
So this is the key lime cheesecake. It's pretty good. We're enjoying it, but it doesn't have quite the original taste of the original, of course.
It'll lock your jaws.
This one will lock your jaws. It is so tart. Great though.
But
Yeah, that is some key lime.
And while we were there, it poured down rain. I mean, poured down rain, just long enough for us to finish our pie.
Yeah, and we had 2 slices, one of the regular key lime and one of the cheesecake key lime. I love the cheesecake key lime, but it doesn't stand up to the original. It was pretty good.
That's right. Then we kind of tooled on down to a place called Kermit's Key Lime Pie.
And
during that time on the way, you're going to tell them?
Yeah, on the way we went by Tony's, where they were playing jazz and
Blow, boy, blow.
You'll see the video, blow it, boy, blow it. Is kind of interesting. And there were lots of people walking around down there. And as you can see, the rain had made it very wet and slick. But people were having a good time anyway. it seems to be a really a very fun place to be, and we enjoyed walking around down there. But yes, we did head for Kermit's, and as we can say, we walked past a lot of different places for tattoos and that sort of thing. I asked Beth, I said, "Are you going to get a tattoo today?" She said, "What?"
No.
Nope.
No.
Me either. So we got to Kermit's key lime pie, and
It was a little bit out of the way. You have to go across the street. We went down the street and over, and you cross the street and you go up the stairs or a ramp, and it's kind of in the corner back there, and there's a Wendy's on the other side of it. But here we tried their key lime pie, and it was good. You can never have a bad key lime pie. It was tasty. It just wasn't the same.
so we're at Kermit's trying their key lime pie, and I have to say, I think the key lime shop is better. Specifically because this has more of a bottled lime flavor to it, which you'll see in just a second. You saw that. That was the bottled lime flavor that they use in their pies, which is all well and good, but that's not, when I pay that much for a pie, I kind of expect it to be made with fresh lime, which I think from what we saw, it looked like that's what they made at the original key lime pie shop. Still good. Even a bad key lime pie in Key West is still good.
It didn't have the same flavor. The lime flavor was a little.
Next, we want to tell you about one of the special meals we had on board. Surprisingly, it came from the buffet, but the food was the same in the buffet, whether from the Islander or whether the Finn's restaurant, or whether it was from the buffet. All of the food was the same.
Unless you ordered the
Right.
special menu.
Yeah, if you ordered the special menu, like lobster or whatever, they didn't have that obviously in the buffet. But all of the normal meals were all the same food. So we had this and loved it. And what this is flat
iron grilled steak. Put me on the spot. Flat iron grilled steak.
Yes, flat iron grilled steak.
So tender, we could almost cut it with our fork.
Really surprised too, because we had not had the flat iron grilled steak before, and really enjoyed it. In fact, came back and had it here at home.
It was almost as good home.
That's true. That's true. That night we went to a show, and that show was about, of course, reprising Jimmy Buffett's favorite, the music from Jimmy Buffett, and with dancers and all that sort of thing.
They were giving us a taste of what was to come, introducing the dancers and singers.
And while it was really good, and we enjoyed that particular show, we really didn't go to any other shows during the time we were on board. And the reason for that was twofold. One, the other shows that were set up there were not to our liking. It was comedians and jugglers and that sort of thing, which we weren't really, a magician, and we weren't really impressed with the magician, right? I go anywhere, I go to a kid's birthday party and see a magician. Mm-hmm. So, I
don't know if it was more his fault or the audience, but they were not very responsive.
No. And well, it was the kind of magician where he spent a lot of time dancing around to the music, trying to make you look or laugh or whatever, rather than actually doing magic. Anyway, we weren't really impressed with that, so we didn't really go to any other shows. The first one was good though, and it was a lot of singing and dancing, as you can see.
And here is the beautiful Margarita at Sea Islander from the dock. You can see it's a beautiful ship.
We spent some time walking around in Cozumel, and after we left Key West and we went down to Cozumel, we spent some time walking around down there. And I have to say, I was not impressed by where we went there from the standpoint of being accosted by people.
Well, it's right when you get off the dock.
Yeah.
And it's where the cruise shops and things are. We didn't go too much farther than that, mainly because I still was not feeling real well. But it was hot and we were tired and I was hurting. And so we didn't stay too long. What we saw was really nice, but it was, as you go along to look around, you have constant, come in, I have a free bracelet, or I have a charm, or you get this, a piece of jewelry. And I didn't want those. And so we went along. But I found that in our earlier cruise travels that people do seem almost desperate for people to shop. And I can understand that from their point of view. This is their livelihood. But it is kind of irritating to tourists, I think, or someone who just wants to stroll around. You can't without being distracted.
Yeah, and sometimes they get downright rude to you, that you won't stop and look at their stuff or stop and buy things. You just have to keep walking past them, don't even respond to them.
Don't engage them and just keep going.
I had on a white shirt that was kind of Cuban looking, and I had one come up and say, "Oh, I like your shirt. That's Mexican, right? Let me show you some other Mexican stuff." No, I'm not going in there with you. Thanks anyway. So, and you have to be aware that there are some other things that go on sometimes with this, with people who are selling off the docks, who are close to the docks. And one of those things to be aware of is a scam called a switch, bait and switch. And what happens is that you think that you're buying something from them, and it's in a box, and you put it in your, like, you're buying, I don't know, let's say Voltaren. You were talking about Voltaren earlier, right? So let's say a box of Voltaren, and you put it in your bag when you get it, and then you get it back to the ship, and the ship is leaving, and you look at the box and you open it, and it's a box of rocks, right? Or it's empty, right? And so, you have to be careful that these people aren't trying to take advantage of you, because they will.
So the tip is, if you purchase something and it's wrapped up in a box or a bag, open it before you leave the store and make sure that that's what you bought.
In fact, open it before you pay for it, and make sure it's what you want or what you expect, right? And don't give it back to the person for them to swap out, right? Because they will. So now, when we were in Cozumel, they did have, again, we were on the Margarita at Sea. Well, Jimmy Buffett has an entire company from Margaritaville. And as you can see, there was a restaurant and bar and trading post there at Cozumel. And they have those everywhere. They have them, even in big cities now. They have
as close to us as Aiken, South Carolina, is about an hour away. And also in Myrtle Beach and different areas like that, they have the Margaritaville stores to purchase merchandise and to drink and to do all those things. But they also have the villages that you can buy and live there. They're the retirement villages. They have hotels. They have the timeshares. So he really has gotten, or his company now has really cashed in on this, and it's fun. They make fun for everyone.
They do. We when we were on board and we were in Cozumel, we went back to our cabin and sat out on the balcony.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And beautiful view. We were seeing these ships coming by, these catamarans and so forth. And one thing I remarked to Beth about was the fact that they were so close to the ship, and I thought, wow, that's kind of unusual. But the more I think about it, we're not they. When you're in Cozumel, you're not in a bay.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually there at the beach. So the catamarans, while they might look like they're close, or they might look like they're close to the shore, they're really not as close as they appear. And these are a lot of party barges, and I suspect that they were part of the excursions, and that people would go out on these party barges and party, and then
they were
come back.
singing.
Oh yeah, they were singing. They were having a good time.
We enjoyed watching their fun.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun, just being able to see that going on. And there were a lot of other ships there in Cozumel as well. The Celebrity, I think, and
Celebration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
there was 2 carnival ships there, and you'll see them here.
Mm-hmm. And then we saw the Senior Frogs, mm-hmm. and we had been on another cruise. We went to Senior Frogs, and it was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. One thing that it's a experience that we had on one of our cruises. We took my daughter and our daughter and her friend with her, and her best friend. And they went off to do their thing, and we went off to do our thing. I think we were in Cozumel. Was it in Cozumel?
I don't know if we were in Cozumel, but I want to say we were in the either the Grand Bahamas. We might have been in the Bahamas.
Anyway, we were in port, and we went out to look around, and we came back. And there's a time that you have to be back in order to get on board the ship. And everybody was coming in. My daughter and her friend not coming in. Finally, everybody cleared out, and they're still not back. And we're like, oh my God, we got to go see about them. So I actually said, well, I'll just go. I've got my passport. I'll go. So I got off the ship, and as I was getting off the ship, they came rolling up. They had been drinking and a lot. And so they rolled in, and as it turned out, what they did was a really not a good thing. And my daughter even realizes it to this day. They went up some stairs in the back of this restaurant, right, or bar, and drinking upstairs somewhere in the back or whatever. And I said, well, I might never have seen you again, right? You can't just go wandering off getting drunk behind a bar somewhere in some upstairs place where nobody knows where you're at. And she, when she sobered up, she realized, that might not have been such a smart idea, being in a foreign port going, into places we shouldn't go. So you might want to mention that to your grown children if they come with you on a cruise, just as an aside. But yeah, that it was kind of a funny, if kind of dangerous, but could have been dangerous,
Could have
right?
been dangerous.
And when you're cruising, don't feel like you have to do something every minute, that you need to go to every show, that you need to hit every bar. A lot of people feel that way when they start cruising. They want to get the most out of it. They paid a lot of money for it. They want to get the most out of it. The thing is, calm down, relax, and take it easy and figure out what you want to do on board the cruise. But then take your time and go and do some other things, or do nothing at all. Just sit back.
Fun doing nothing at all a few days.
Right.
And mainly because of my pain, I didn't want to go a lot of places, and I could get into one position and it wouldn't hurt so bad. So we had a day or two, a few times that we just took a nap, or Dean would read, and I would like blank out for a while.
Or we would just go down,
Or we'd just go down and sit.
Yes, we're sitting out on our balcony on the ship. We're outside of Cancun, and it's a great day. Yeah, just go down and sit
it was very relaxing.
listen to a little music, and that was it, right? I mean,
Yep.
so it was very relaxing, and that's the whole point of a cruise, is you're supposed to enjoy yourself and not be stressed over how much you want to get done. So
See,
that's-
that way you can go back again.
there you go.
If
Just
you
like
don't get done what you want to get done,
well,
just go back again.
just like we're going to be going back to Key West to see about the key limes, right? And so
we still have more places to check out.
We still have more places to check out.
We were not in the market for souvenirs or anything like that. I love to look at the shops. So the shopping there is not a lot because, again, it's a smaller ship. But they do have a couple of places. One is split between like a liquor shop, which they have some really beautiful liquors and some great prices. And then the other souvenirs and different things. And they were really pretty, great items. We saw a few things that we thought, if I wanted that, I could probably get it on Amazon. I wouldn't have to worry about taking it back home or anything. But there were some unique items there. One in particular are all the flip-flop sculptures. They're little to huge to the big 2-story one or whatever. And then there are lots of shirts. And
I don't think the 2-story one is for sale.
I don't think so.
I'm just going to say.
I think not. But you could make one.
Yeah, you could.
You could.
If you loved it that much.
The shops were nice. They were not horribly priced. They were cruise prices. But really, really pretty, very tastefully done. And so that was fun looking through all those things.
And generally, again, as an aside, right? If you're a seasoned cruiser, then you already know this. If you're not a seasoned cruiser, then this is really for you. But keep in mind that when you're a captive audience on board a ship. That's kind of what they expect. You want to buy that $40 baseball cap, right? Then you want a baseball cap. You say, "Ooh, that's so cool!" And $40, well,
or a $90 pair of Dockers shoes.
Yeah. So, so keep in mind that when you're on board ship, if there's something that you think is very unique or handcrafted or that sort of thing, by all means, if you want to get it, get it. But we found that almost all of the things that we saw, we could come back and Google on Amazon or just shopping somewhere and find them. Etsy. There's a lot of things that are, made that you can buy elsewhere that don't cost nearly as much. Now, they might not be exactly the same, but they're pretty close. So, just a tip, try to avoid spending a bunch of money on souvenirs on the ship because you can probably get them cheaper elsewhere. So I think that's it for us. And I just want to say if you keep watching to the end, you'll get a little. We decided that at some point during the trip we would speak in tongues. So you'll get a
yes.
Yeah. Not sure why that came out that way, but enjoy. All right. Oh, and by the way, please like, share, and subscribe. It's important. It will help our channel grow.
Yes.
You want to go ahead and do a like, share, and subscribe so I can insert it earlier in the video?
Yeah. What? Me?
Just do it.
Oh. Like?
Please.
Please like. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Bloop, 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 bloop.